Hey everybody, I'm trying an indoor one today. Hope the sound is pretty good. I'm going to try a little experiment. I have an external mic that I'm going to try to use for the audio, and we will see how that works. So I have three mini movie reviews today. The first one is going to be the Giallo movie, The Psychic. The second is going to be the Barkley Marathon's documentary. And the third is going to be a movie called Future War. All right. So first up, we have The Psychic. The Psychic is a movie from 1977. It's by Lucio Fulci. You can probably find it on a bunch of different platforms, but it is even available for free on YouTube, if nothing else. Now, it was one of the ones that was mentioned in that Giallo documentary that I watched recently, so I thought I would give it a try. It is from the mid-period of Lucio Fulci. So for those of you not familiar with Lucio Fulci, he is kind of the mid-level horror director from Italy, where you have the top-tier ones are going to be Argento and Mario Bava. Mid ones are going to be the guys like Lucio Fulci. He is known most commonly for his later movies, which are ultra gory, and a lot of times they were zombie movies. Probably the most liked of his is the movie Zombie. Also, he did The Beyond, which a lot of people love. The Beyond. He did one that was called Gates of Hell. I think it had a different name, but that was like the American release name was Gates of Hell. And they were all very, very, very gory. And like a lot of Italian movies, the plot is rather insignificant. He also did some early, more straightforward Giallo movies. The most famous of those is going to probably be Don't Torture a Duckling. This movie is called The Psychic. It's kind of in between because it does have some slightly supernatural elements to it, and being very, very similar in time period to the stuff that Argento was doing, his big movies like Deep Red and Suspiria. This has kind of some similarities, though it's not near as good. I would say this is an okay movie. If you're into Giallo, it's worth checking out. It's not great for the average movie fan, and it's not really great horror either. Basic concept is you've got a woman who is coming to join her new husband in his old, broken down mansion / estate. She has a psychic vision on the way to the house, and very quickly uses that psychic vision to find a body walled up in a room of that semi-abandoned house. And then we find that a lot of the pieces of that vision haven't come true yet, and they're actually visions into the future. So you have to unravel through that who the killer is and who the future possible killer will be. And in that sense, it's kind of not that fascinating. It's not really stylish enough to make it as awesome as some of the other Italian movies from the era. I would say you're much better off checking out movies like Suspiria or Deep Red for sure. There's a later movie by who is it by? I can't remember the name of the guy who's by, but Lenzi maybe, one of those guys. It's called Stage Fright. That one's amazing. And much more interesting looking and weirdly stylish. So I would say The Psychic is, it's free, so you can check it out, but I wouldn't go out of my way for The Psychic. All right, next up, we've got an awesome... The Psychic I would give probably 2.5 to 3 stars at the most. The next movie we have is going to be the Barkley Marathons. That is available on Amazon Prime. It is a documentary that's been out for since 2014, I do believe, 2015. It is amazingly good documentary. So this has all the elements that you should get from a great documentary, in my opinion. It's not all talking heads. It's got an interesting subject that most people haven't heard of. It actually has some sort of a narrative structure to it. In other words, there is some kind of a beginning, middle, and end for you to follow along with. It's got really interesting characters for you to learn about. The most common ones that follow these patterns are often going to be the true crime ones, because they have beginning, middle, and ends. They have mystery, all these kind of elements. The second, probably most common one that you get that works well is sports, because of course with sporting events, you you have that built-in narrative arc. Well, Barkley Marathons follows along that path, but it is sports that most people haven't heard of and is very unusual. So it's kind of got that oddball character, real life character aspect to it. In a nutshell, the Barkley Marathons, a high endurance marathon. Usually these are run by big, well-known corporations or groups or running clubs or cities or some sort of an organization where they're very well organized and slick and they have sponsors and the whole thing. In this case, the Barkley Marathon is run by a guy that is just this weird guy. And I sort of described him in my little mini review. I would say, to me, he's like that crazy hippie / hillbilly uncle that just happened to have been a world grade runner at one point in his life. So he started this marathon. It's really fun just to actually discover the marathon as you go. But what they do is they basically, as they're telling the story of how the marathon came about and what it's all about, they follow the marathon from a particular year. So you're there with the contestants as they get there, as they start, and as they go through the marathon. So you've kind of got a beginning, middle, and end. Just all you need to know really is that this marathon it's about 100 miles, and you have a maximum of 60 hours to complete it. And the complete elevation change that you will experience by the end of this marathon is going to be the equivalent of going up and down Mount Everest twice. In many years, there is no one that completes the marathon. And most years, if someone does, it's one maybe that will complete it. But a lot of times it's not. That's really all you got to know, because the rest of it is really fun to discover when you discover when you actually go through the documentary itself. Very, very enjoyable. Great characters throughout, and a lot of great drama built into it. Highly recommend the Barkley Marathons on Amazon Prime. And my third mini review is going to be for a little movie called Future War. You may have come across this if you're a fan of So Bad It's Good kind of shows or series. If you listen to Red Letter Media and watch their Best of the Worst, or if you watch Mystery Science Theater 3000, you may have come across Future War. But if you're not one of those weird individuals like myself, Future War may have eluded you. Now, luckily, I hadn't seen either of their reviews of Future War first. I had come across it on another YouTube channel recently and thought that sounded like it was right up my alley. I looked it up. It was, lo and behold, free on YouTube because it's such a low-budget movie. So for you, it also would be free on YouTube. You might be able to find it other places, but I wouldn't spend a lot of money to get Future War. So why shouldn't you watch Future War? First of all, you have to be into really so bad they're good kind of movies. Now, if you already are kind of on board for that, I'll give you kind of a thumbnail description, and you can see if it fits the kind of thing you might want to watch. Future War is from 1997. So here is the concept. Take a lead character that is very much like a low-rent Jean-Claude Van Damme. Take him, make him basically the Terminator, but in this universe, the Terminator is essentially a human that has been kidnapped by aliens. The humans have been kidnapped from the past by aliens. The aliens are like cyborgs, and the aliens also have kidnapped dinosaurs from the extreme past, and they use dinosaurs as trackers to track the escaped human slaves. So Jean-Claude Van Damme is an escaped human slave from these cyborgs, and he's being chased by these cyborgs and the dinosaurs. It's as bad as it sounds, but it's better than it sounds as well. The low-grade level of execution on all fronts is stupendous and amazing. The dinosaur puppets are great, greatly terrible. The cyborg stuff is greatly terrible. All the sets are hilarious. The overdubbing is amazing. So obviously the sound on set was pretty terrible. So they did a lot of overdubbing after the fact, and it goes up and down in quality. It doesn't sound like it's in the same location at all, so you get this really weird sounding like overdub dialogue. And the main woman, who is the Sarah Connor-ish character, is an ex-prostitute training to become a nun. Why not? So it's about 80 minutes long. To me, it never gets boring because it's just from one crazy thing to another crazy thing. But it is these perfect mix of those kind of movies that are so bad, but they're not trying to be bad. It's not ironically trying to be bad. It's trying to be a good sci-fi action movie, and instead it's just hilariously terrible. So there's your 3 movies. Hopefully that gives you a couple things to watch, and we'll be back with some more soon. Talk to you later.